Welcome to another deep dive. We're going deep into Doza Cruz music today.
Oh, awesome.
And specifically we're going to focus on Düsterdool,
Okay.
which some people have said is their kind of their signature song
Mm.
that really kind of embodies what they're all about.
Yeah, and Düsterdool, I mean, just that title alone
Oh yeah.
is so evocative. It translates to Dark Valley,
Okay.
and it really sets the tone for the whole track, doesn't it?
Definitely, yeah. It makes you wonder, is this a literal valley or is this like a metaphorical valley?
It's both. It's rooted in a very specific place. It's actually about Ostfriesland, which is this coastal region
Oh, okay.
in northwestern Germany, and it's known for its stark beauty, but it also has a long history of hardship.
So right from the title, we get this sense of place and these challenges that people face.
Exactly.
And those challenges, they really come through in the lyrics.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I mean, you've got lines like, fire knows no mercy in these mean streets.
Dozakur doesn't shy away from depicting the harsh realities, poverty, violence. These are things that many in that region experience firsthand,
Right.
and it comes through in the lyrics so strongly.
But even amidst all those struggles, there's still this incredible sense of resilience that comes through in the music, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. And that resilience is crystallized, I think, in the chorus. Ostfriesland,
Ostfriesland heart.
Ostfriesland tough. It's more than just a statement. It's a badge of honor. It's a testament to the strength that it takes to survive in that environment.
Like, yeah, life here is hard, but we're harder.
Exactly. And they reinforce that message even more through their use of the Low German dialect.
Oh, okay.
So it's not just standard German. They use Low German, which is more, it adds a layer of authenticity, makes it more raw, more powerful.
Can you give an example of how that works?
Yeah, sure. So take the line, Kein Verdag in der Nacht, man hat kein Frage. In standard German, that would be Kein Verdacht in der Nacht, man hat keine Fragen,
Mm-hmm.
which means no suspicion in the night, no one asks any questions. But in Low German, it just hits differently. It feels closer to the lived experience,
Right.
more direct, almost like a whispered secret.
So we've got this really stark setting. We've got this portrayal of hardship. We've got this undercurrent of defiance. And then woven throughout it all, we have this imagery of darkness and fire. What do you think Doza Crew is doing with those elements? What's the point of them?
Well, it's so brilliantly done, I think. The darkness isn't just about the night, right?
Mm.
It's about the struggles that people face. And the fire, it's both literal and metaphorical. It represents the real danger that they live with, but also that burning desire to overcome those challenges.
Like this push and pull between light and shadow, struggle and survival.
Exactly. And it really comes to a head in that ending. That question that's left hanging in the air. Dear Nacht, what wilt dat Schicksal wohl? Through the night, what does fate want? It's not about giving easy answers. It's about acknowledging that the future is uncertain. Even with all that toughness, they're still at the mercy of forces beyond their control. And that makes you think, what thoughts did it bring up for you?
Honestly, it made me think about how we all face those moments of uncertainty. Those times when we wonder what's coming next, what's fate going to throw at us. But like the people Doza Crew sings about, we just keep going.
It's a universal struggle.
Yeah.
And that's what makes Doza Crew's music so powerful. It taps into the shared human experience of hardship and resilience.
Absolutely. Now, we've gone pretty deep on Düsterdool at this point, but we did mention BKRD and Platt earlier.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, how does that track fit into all of this? How does it compare to the raw intensity that we've been talking about with Düsterdool?
Well, BKRD and Platt is interesting because it gives us a more localized perspective,
Yeah.
more intimate. We go from this broad, metaphorical landscape of Düsterdool into the streets of a specific neighborhood. It's called Bockreden. And while it still acknowledges those hardships, the tone shifts a little bit.
Okay.
It becomes more about finding the light and the warmth within that darkness.
Yeah, I'm getting that feeling. Like it's less about confronting those hardships head on and more about finding strength in that community and those shared experiences.
Exactly. Think of it this way. If Düsterdool is about staring into the abyss, BKRD and Platt is about finding those embers that keep you warm within it.
I like that.
But, we can save that exploration for later.
Yeah, let's stick with Düsterdool for now.
Yeah, let's dig into those lyrics.
Yeah, those opening verses. What really grabbed you about those? What really stood out?
Well, for me, it was that image of fire. Fire knows no mercy in these mean streets. It's so visceral. Like, you can almost feel the heat and the danger just from that line.
Yeah, for sure. It's such a strong metaphor too, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Fire can be so destructive, but it can also purify. And I think in Düsterdool, it kind of represents both of those things.
Right.
That constant threat hanging over the community, but also that inner fire that drives them to survive.
Yeah, and then you have that contrast, a few lines later where it talks about, getting your mother a loaf of bread, just this very simple need.
Right.
But in the context of this song, it speaks volumes.
Absolutely. It reminds us that, poverty is not just some abstract concept. This is about real people trying to get by every single day.
Yeah, trying to put food on the table.
And yet, even with all of that, there's this underlying feeling that they're not giving in to despair. I mean, that chorus, Ostfriesland Heart, it's like a battle cry. It's like they're refusing to be defined by their circumstances.
It really is.
It's incredible how, even in the face of all that hardship, there's this fierce pride, this determination to persevere.
It makes you wonder, what is it about Ostfriesland? What is it about this place that fosters that kind of resilience?
Yeah, I mean, is it something in the water?
Right.
I think maybe it's the land itself. We were talking about it being a coastal region, a place that's really shaped by the elements, constantly battered by the sea.
Yeah.
That harshness of nature. Maybe that's what has instilled this toughness in the people.
I mean, it would make sense, right?
Yeah.
And it's reflected in the way they talk about their lives. Like, the line, "Lebst für'n Tag mit der Fäuste bereit."
Oh, yeah, I love that line.
That's just living for the day with fists ready.
Yeah.
That's not just about survival.
It's a way of life.
It's a way of life. It's about being prepared for anything.
Yeah, facing each day with grit and determination.
Do you think that warrior mentality, is it romanticized at all in this song?
I don't think so. I think it's a nuanced portrayal. I mean, it doesn't shy away from the violence. It acknowledges the harsh realities that they face.
Right.
But it also suggests that strength, that resilience, that's what's necessary to navigate those realities, It's more about that spirit of fighting for what you believe in, fighting for what you have to protect.
And that fighting spirit is so often symbolized by fire, isn't it? Like, we see it again in lines like "Brendi de straw, kintiet verlachen," which translates to "burn the straw, there's no time for laughter."
Yeah, there's so much at stake. Can't afford to let your guard down.
And then just a couple lines later, "In der Gegend sind wir all am Krachen." In this area, we are all breaking down.
Yeah, there's this vulnerability there, even amidst the tough exterior.
So it's not just about individual strength. It's about recognizing that everyone's carrying these burdens, these battles they're facing. But still, they find a way to hold on to hope.
Yeah, and I think that's where the music itself comes in. Do you think the music reinforces that message of hope, or does it lean more towards despair?
I would say it does both. I mean,
Sure.
it's the rhythm's very driving, the vocals are very intense, and so there's a sense of urgency. There's a sense of struggle there for sure.
Right.
But there are these melodic moments.
Yes.
These little glimmers of something lighter, something hopeful.
It's so compelling. It doesn't offer any easy answers. It doesn't offer any solutions. It just forces us to confront the complexities of life.
Right.
The darkness, the light, the struggle, and the resilience. And then it just leaves us with that question,
Durch Nacht, what will dat Schicksal wohl?
Yeah.
Through the night, what does fate want?
Right. They're acknowledging that even with their best efforts, the future's uncertain.
It's a lot to think about.
It is. It's heavy. But it's honest. Even with all the strength in the world, there are things that are beyond our control.
Right.
But I think there's something really powerful in that,
Yeah.
in facing that uncertainty, asking those tough questions.
Yeah. It reminds me of that saying, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Right. Right.
Maybe that's what they're trying to say. Like, even when it feels overwhelming, we have to confront our fears.
It's a powerful message. It makes you think about your own dark valleys, those challenges that we all face.
That is a question worth pondering. But
Yeah.
before we go too deep there, maybe we should shift gears a little bit.
Yeah.
Bring BKRD and Platt back into this.
Yeah, let's talk about BKRD and Platt.
Right, we talked about it having this different perspective,
Yeah.
this more localized, intimate view of life in this environment. How does that play out in the lyrics? How does it work?
Well, with BKRD and Platt, we go from this broad landscape of Düsterdool into this specific neighborhood,
Right.
Bockraden, and it's not that they're ignoring the hardships,
Right.
but the focus really shifts to the details, those little things that make this place unique.
So instead of fire knows no mercy in these mean streets, we get small pubs with walls covered in graffiti and and young people hanging out in the street.
That paints a different kind of picture.
Yeah, it's about those little moments of joy.
Finding beauty in the everyday,
Yes.
those shared experiences that make life worth living, even when it's hard.
Yeah. But it's not just a rosy picture though, is it?
No, of course not. I mean, you've still got those sirens wailing in the background. You still got, those tough guys out there trying to prove their strength.
Right.
But those things aren't the focus. The focus is on the resilience of that community, the
Yeah.
way that they find strength in their shared history, in their identity.
And that sense of shared identity really comes through the dialect too, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's like they're creating this world that only people who understand the language, understand the culture, can really access.
Exactly. And within that world, there's that sense of defiance, too.
Mm-hmm.
But it's expressed differently.
Okay.
It's not about confronting the darkness, head on. It's about finding joy within it. It's about finding light within it.
Yeah. I love that chorus. Schallweis durch die Stub und die Bäume husen, mit de Fröne in die Nacht, wohnt ich wie ein Busen, always through the dust and the trees, with my friends in the night where I want to rage.
Oh, it's pure energy.
Yeah, it's pure celebration.
They're not letting the hardship define them, They're
Yeah.
choosing to celebrate life. They're choosing to connect with each other, with their community, to find those moments of joy.
So we've gone from staring into the abyss with Düsterdool to finding these sparks of light with
Yeah.
BKRD and Platt. Two different perspectives, two different approaches, but both ultimately rooted in that Ostfriesland heart spirit.
It's what's so fascinating about Doza Crew. They give us these multifaceted views of life, the
Yes.
struggles, the resilience, and it makes you think about how we navigate those same things in our own lives.
Yeah. Where do we find our strength? How do we find community? What are the dark valleys that we face? And how do we find that light within them?
Those are big questions. Maybe Doza Crew's music can help us find some answers.
Or at least help us keep asking the right questions.
Yeah.
So we've really been exploring these two sides of the same coin, haven't we?
Yeah.
The harsh realities of Düsterdool and then that spirit of BKRD and Platt. Two songs, two different perspectives. But both of them really grounded in that same Ostfriesland heart mentality.
It's been fascinating to see how it all connects.
Yeah. Starting in that dark valley, with Düsterdool, all that hardship and uncertainty.
Mhm.
But even there we found these glimmers of defiance.
That burning desire to overcome.
Like life might knock us down, but we always get back up.
Exactly. And it's not just about individual strength either. It's about the power of the community, how people come together to face those challenges.
Which brings us back to BKRD and Platt.
Mhm.
What really struck you about that shift in focus?
I think what surprised me was how much joy they found in just the everyday moments. Like they zoomed in on those little details, those small pubs, the kids playing in the street. Like even in this tough environment, there's still beauty, there's still connection, there's still life.
Yeah. It's like they're saying, hey, we're not going to let the hardship define us.
Exactly. And I think that's where that sense of community becomes so important. It's about knowing you're not alone in it.
Right.
There are people who understand what you're going through, people who will be there to celebrate with you, to support you.
Absolutely. We're stronger together.
And Doza Crew really captures that, not just in the lyrics, but in the music itself, that driving rhythm, the group vocals, the way that dialect weaves its way through the songs. It all creates this feeling of togetherness, of shared experience.
Yeah, you can almost feel that energy, like a community coming together, finding strength in their shared history.
Right.
And it makes you think about the role music plays in all of our lives. How it connects us, uplifts us.
How it reminds us that we're not alone.
Exactly. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with a thought. What does Ostfriesland heart mean to you?
Yeah. Where do you find that same spirit in your own life?
How do you build community, especially when things get tough?
Doza Crew's music gives us a lot to think about. Thanks for joining us.